Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, it's game number 3 of the 4-game set. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. History last night as Scooter Gennett became the 17th player in Major League history to hit 4 home runs in one game. It's the first time it's ever happened in over 100 years of Cincinnati Reds baseball. Gennett on that 0-2 pitch, bottom of the 8th, he made history. What a night it was. That's Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Jim Hayes is here as well. Turn the page on Game 2, say hello to Game 3, and that means it's Lance Lynn tonight.
Yes, Lance Lynn and all of the starters, actually, other than last night, have been good all year long. So just looking for another good outing out of Lance Lynn, get the ball rolling again. Hopefully the Cardinals offense will pick up the slack and start producing some runs with this actually makeshift lineup from normal.
Yep, Matt Carpenter at the top of the lineup, and Lance Lynn is on the mound for St. Louis. The 40-year-old Bronson Arroyo for Cincinnati. Baseball is coming up. chance to see something amazing. A legendary baseball feat sprang from an unlikely source last night. And Jeanette unloads. Out to deep right. It's a grand slam. Hammers that ball out to deep center field. Did he do it again? He certainly has. Hits it the other way down the left field line. And this ball is gone. Jeanette with a drive into right. Did he do it? He has! 4 home runs. It's never been done in Reds history until now. 4 home runs in one single game. Scooter Jeanette. What will we see tonight? Find out next on Fox Sports Midwest. Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all, for less. It was his first start last night in left field. This evening, Scooter Jeanette shifts to his normal spot of second base. The Cardinals, they've lost 5 in a row and 15 of their last 20, and trying to turn it around here tonight. Matt Carpenter in the leadoff spot. Dexter Fowler's on the bench. Then Tommy Pham and Steven Piscotty. Jed Jerko, Jose Martinez, Aledmus Diaz, Paul DeYoung, Eric Fryer, and the pitcher batting ninth, that's Lance Lynn. A lot of off-speed pitches, as you see there. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for the 40-year-old making his 3rd start of the year against the Cardinals, Bronson Arroyo. It floats in there for strike 1.
First pitch changeup. Well, maybe that even is a fastball, but yeah, Bronson Arroyo now has really dropped below the 90-mile-an-hour mark. You'll see 83 all day long if he humps up a little bit, but he's always been one of those guys that's been crafty and will move the ball around no matter what.
Well, Matt Carpenter, over 2,200 plate appearances as a leadoff man, and his average is .295. The OPS on base plus slugging .871. This has been a position in the lineup that really he's thrived in his career. Takes a ball low. So .295 batting as the #1 man in a lineup. 249 number 2, 226 when he's batting third.
Yeah, sometimes I believe in that, sometimes I don't. But right now we're not watching the same Matt Carpenter anyways. He's been struggling a little bit as of late, and they're going to try to do anything they can to get him going.
Hamilton racing to that baseball in left center for the first out. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Duvall, Hamilton, and Schebler in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, the aforementioned Jeanette at second. Votto at first base. Devin Mesoraco is behind the plate. 27 errors total by the Reds, and that's the second fewest in the National League. Ripped by Tommy Pham, and a base hit into left field. So some big names on the bench tonight for the Cardinals. Dexter Fowler, Molina, Peralta, and Greg Garcia.
So I got to shake it up. I'm talking about that. Shake it up a little bit. I like the Tommy Pham at the top of the order. He brings a lot of energy and a lot of athleticism to the top of the lineup. He can hit, he can run, he's got power. He runs hard, and I think that he's the kind of guy that a team can feed off of his energy level. And you watch him, everything he does is 110%.
With the velocity being as down as it is this year, there have only been 2 stolen base attempts against Bronson Arroyo. That's a bit surprising.
And he does a really good job of varying his times, even though you saw right there, I mean, so easy to run right there on that breaking ball. But what he does well is, because his velocity is down and he does such a good job of locating the fastball and the changeup, he'll quick pitch a lot, and he has quick feet to move over to first base. And you saw right there, he really just turns and throws. So you never know when you're at first base what pitch you're going to get. It's almost like when you're about to run, you got to say you're going to run, and then if he gives you the slide step, then you just stop. But yeah, I think that he does a really good job of holding guys on at first base.
Mesoraco behind the plate has caught 4 of 13 base stealers. The 2-0. Now 3-0. Piscotty, his last 3 games, 4 for 9, 2 home runs. He's driven in 4. To put it in perspective, going the right direction. Before this little run, he had no home runs, just 4 driven in his previous 25 games. Do they turn him loose here in the first inning on 3-0? 3 balls and 1 strike.
See right there, that's a little, it's not the curveball, but it's a little spinner. He's so comfortable in being able to throw pitches in any situation, and that's why he's still around. And he's probably not with the numbers that he'd like to have, but he's so valuable to a young pitching staff, and go out there and eat up innings.
Runner goes, that's Pham, and safe at second base as the ball gets away from Scooter Gennett. I think if the tag was there, he would have been out.
I think that if he'd caught the ball, he'd have been out. I don't know what Scooter was doing there. It's almost like he let the ball travel a little too far. And you can see the catcher is I think he was a little upset that this ball wasn't caught, because he threw it right on the money. Yeah, you can't throw it any better than that.
So stolen base number 5 for Tommy Pham. He's tied with Yadier Molina for the team lead. The pitch to Piscotty was a strike. It's now 3-2, and time is called. During this 5-game losing skid, the Cardinals have only scored 14 runs. 3-2 pitch. Held on to by Mesoraco. And the first strikeout of the night for Bronson Arroyo.
You can see all those pitches are on the edge. He's touching the edge with all of his pitches, and then all of a sudden he throws the fastball or like the curveball that he wants to throw for a strike, but he pulls a little bit back and it's really slow. Ends up being right down the middle, but at 66, 68 miles an hour, most hitters aren't ready for that.
Jed Jerko, 9th in the National League, batting .316. 8 home runs. He's driven in 22, and a fastball in there for a strike. Ryan Zimmerman leads the league in hitting at .365. The 2 games against Arroyo, the Cardinals have scored 10 in just 8 innings of work by Bronson. 0-1 pitch. Ripped down the left field line, but foul. Nice play made by the ball boy. 0-2 the count. We turn to our Toyota keys to the game. Lance Lynn loves the fastball, uses it all the time. Arroyo, you're not going to see it very often. A lot of breaking pitches throughout the game.
And that's how Bronson's always been. And you can see Lance throwing the fastball 80% of the time. And he wants the game to go. He wants to get the ball put in play, defense to work. Bronson, he doesn't mind throwing a lot of different pitches because he has mastered the art of throwing all of his pitches to contact and not contact when he needs it.
Drop down and strikes out Jed Jerko. Back-to-back Ks for Arroyo. No score after a half inning. Runs in 5 1/3 against the Cubs. Got a no decision. An eventual 3-2 loss at Wrigley. A look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. As we talked about, a lot of fastballs. That velocity around 91 to 93. And the Cardinals have dropped the last 4 games that he's been on the mound. So trying to turn that around as well.
And Lance does a good job of, just like I said, you should be able to go out and pitch with your fastball at any level, and if you can throw the ball where you want to throw it. And if you watch the game today, what I'm looking for would be throwing the ball inside, getting some run against the right-handers, and then sinking the ball away from the left-handers, and then cutting it in on the left-handers to keep them off balance. But I think he just likes to work quick. He knows if he keeps the ball down in the zone, he's going to be successful and keep everybody else in the game.
Switch hitting. Billy Hamilton leads it off, then Cozart and Votto. Duvall bats clean up. Suarez, Schebler, Jeanette, Mesoraco, and Arroyo. The first pitch is taken for a ball. It's a very good offense, as we've been talking about the last couple of nights, and doing damage early in games. Here's a 1-0. Reds have scored in the first inning in 11 of their past 15 games. That's big to jump out to those kinds of leads.
Put a little pressure on the pitcher and the defense. Put a little pressure on the opposing offense to try to catch up. They're a good athletic team with a good lineup. Been talking the last couple nights. A little bit of pitching. And this team's going to be at the top of the division with not a lot of effort right now.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Hamilton. Taken low. Big gap in right center. Pulled to the right side. Loved by DeYoung. And that's the first out. Cardinals defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Martinez in left, Pham in center, Piscotty in right field. Jerko, Diaz, DeYoung, and Carpenter on the infield, and Eric Fryer getting the start tonight behind the plate. Fryer has worked with Lance Lynn a lot in spring training, but he's had one time behind the plate in regular season play, and that was against Colorado. Zach Cozart hitting .353, second in the National League. And the 0-1 pitch. Against Lance Lynn, he has 6 hits, 6 for 34, but 2 of the 6 are home runs.
It's a pretty good 2-hole right there when you're hitting .353 with 9 home runs. And 33 RBIs is a lot of RBIs at this point, especially from the 2-hole.
The 1-1. Taken high and inside. Cozart in the fan ballot for the All-Star game is second behind Corey Seager of the Dodgers, but yet he leads in just about every offensive category for shortstops. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
You gotta love that if you're the pitcher with the sinker. Get a little bit of the inside corner and a little bit more. Be a good day.
3-2 the count. Been talking since the beginning of the year. It was the end of spring training, and Zach Cozart started to put his bat on his shoulder just to relax, and it's made a big difference.
Just try to stay comfortable until the pitch comes.
That's what he talked about, finding a comfort area with his stance. You were not one to change your stance all that much.
No, I really believe that the only time you really need to change, well, I needed to change a stance when the guy that threw a lot of fastballs up in the zone but threw hard, I would stand up just a little bit more so I knew I could get on top of that fastball.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout for Lynn. First strikeout of the night for the Cardinals right-hander. That's that run that you were talking about too, into the right.
Yeah, good sinker. If you can establish that to the right-handers early on, they're going to remember that for the rest of the game, and then that's when you can start going away, mixing speeds a little bit, and just kind of running a little cutter away from them, get them out off the end of the bat. But that pitch in is devastating if you can keep throwing it for a strike.
Well, Joey Votto has put up good numbers against most anybody in baseball, but certainly Lance Lynn, a .440 average, but the on-base percentage .588 against the Cardinals starter tonight in 34 career at-bats. 0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch. Lynn beat the Reds back on April 28th. Allowed 1 run in 6 innings. The very good numbers there for Joey Votto. Pham shading him the opposite way. Big gap in right center. And the 1-2. The fly ball lifted out to Pham. And a 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn. We head to the second, and the Cardinals will have Martinez, Diaz, and DeYoung coming up. than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, you'll get a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Visit MLB.tv for details. Rare night off for Yadier Molina. Jose Martinez in left field tonight, batting .270. 1 home run, and he is driven in 6. Martinez is from Venezuela, and I was in the clubhouse talking with him the other day about what is it like for his family there. And he said if you try to ship anything back, and that pitch is popped up, Mesoraco is over and makes a nice play. He said if you try to ship anything to his family or friends back in Venezuela, the government just takes it. Can't get there, can't get to anybody. So the only way that they can, basically, that he's trying to help out his family, he can wire them money, which is not going to be touched by the government. But in terms of sending back maybe clothing or whatever it might be, he can't do it. It just gets confiscated by the government. Said it's a very scary situation. Here's Aledmys Diaz. One out and nobody on. Arroyo's in the top 10 in strikeouts, starts, 13th all time in wins in Reds history. Epa 266 wins. A Hall of Famer, pitched in the early 1900s, is the all-time leader in wins. Here's a 1-2. Diaz pops it up. Cozart in foul territory makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Brings it Paul DeYoung, batting .265, 1 home run, and he's driven in 4. First pitch popped up on a play. Arroyo, originally a 3rd round pick of the Pirates back in 1995. Darren Erstad was the 1st overall pick that season. The Cardinals had the 12th pick in that draft and selected Matt Morris. Good choice.
That was a good pick.
0-1 pitch. Think about that. 1995. Arroyo was drafted. Here's a 1-1. Back to Bronson. Slings it over to Joey Votto, and a 1-2-3. The Cardinals go quietly here in the top of the 2nd, and there's no score. More on that. Let's check in with Jimmy.
Yeah, as you talked about Danny Dexter Fowler getting the night off, Matt Carpenter returning to that familiar place, the leadoff spot. Matt was one of baseball's best leadoff hitters for 2.5 seasons. He's got a career on base percentage of .387 in that spot. Matt told me he was excited to be back at the top of the order, but he said this: I don't want this to be the narrative that if I go out and get 4 hits tonight, it's okay, he's a leadoff hitter. I want to go 4 for 4. But hitting leadoff has nothing to do with it. Matt says he also feels energized by the call-up of his boyhood friend Chad Huffman, who he played with in high school and at TCU. Dan, getting to be teammates at the major league level, according to Harp, is a dream come true for both of them.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. Chad Huffman, as Jim mentioned, called up from AAA Memphis, a strike to Adam Duvall. The corresponding move, St. Louis optioned John Gant to Memphis. Huffman is 32, and when he does appear, it'll be the first time he's been in the big leagues since his debut with the Yankees back in 2010. Out to center field, Tommy Pham broke back, now comes in and makes the catch. The third of 6 Academy Sports and Outdoor Autograph Nights is this Friday. 2 current players will sign autographs for fans 15 and under in the Ford Plaza from 5:45 to 6:15. 2 former Cardinals will sign for fans of all ages. For details, visit cardinals.com/promotions. Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, batting .287 for the Reds. I saw where Edwin Jackson was going to be called up again by his 12th different major league team. This time by the Orioles. The major league record for teams that one individual has played with and played for is 13. Octavio Dotel. 13 different teams for a guy that was pretty good. Some nasty stuff. He's a setup man for many years and a closer.
Which is funny, is he was in Houston for a while too.
Oh yeah.
So he had to do some serious moving before and after he left there.
Cardinals picked him up in that stretch run of 2011. 2-2 the count. Well, for Lance Lynn, it's start number 12 of the year. The opposition comes in only hitting .192 against him. The right-handers, he's even better. It's .139 the average. Only Max Scherzer has been better. Right-handers hitting just .136 against him. Three and 2 the count. And it's a 1-out walk.
You see right there, we talked about with Carlos Martinez battling trying to get through innings with throwing the sinker, and then humping up right there. Lance a little frustrated with himself. Did the same thing. Been pitching right around 90, 91, 89 with the sinker. Good sinker right there. He tried to hump up on a 4-seamer. 95, but got a little out of whack with the delivery and then frustrated throwing the ball down low for ball 4.
There's Scott Schebler. He has not played since Saturday in terms of the starting lineup. Came in late in game 2 last night. He has just tore up the Cardinals this year. 8 for 15, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 7 driven in 6 games.
Those like Scooters last night.
Yeah. Let's talk with Jim Hayes after the game, and he had a good line. He said, "That's not a bad month by Scooter." And it happened in a game.
Maybe he was listening to us last night. All ears on deck.
So 2-0 the count. Schebler with 16 home runs. And that's first in the National League. He's tied with Justin Bour, Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Reynolds. Those four all with 16. It's a chilly night here in Cincinnati. It's been overcast the entire day. 65 degrees. Three and one to count. Schebler came over. It was a three-team deal, but they got Jose Peraza along with Schebler, two very good pieces of this team. And it's back-to-back walks.
But you gotta like anytime you make any kind of move, trade, whatever, and you got both of them in the lineup. I mean, that's smart baseball by the front office, and that's a really good job at just getting guys that you're really going to use. How about this?
Standing ovation honored before the game. And here he is, Scooter Gennett. Coming off the 4 home run, 10 RBI performance last night. Hits into a double play. Send him down. Your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all for less. 8, 9, and 1 in the lineup for the Cardinals. Fryer, Lynn, and Carpenter. Eric is hitting 194. No home runs. He's driven in 1. There's no score. Top of the 3rd. Bronson Arroyo back in the big leagues earlier this season. His first start in the major leagues since 2014 as Fryer bunts it foul. Had arm and shoulder issues. Landed him on the DL. And his arm, it even hurts for him to play the guitar. He's a big guitar player. He can't do it right now. Not in season. And Bronson Arroyo, that is your former teammate. You really like this guy.
He's a good guy. Really good guy. Really good teammate. He's a gamer, too. I mean, I don't know what it was ridiculous how long he went before he missed a start. Years, like in 13 years. But like you said, he just came back from being on the DL, and that was the first time ever after all that time. But just went out there every day and pitched, competed, great in the clubhouse. And like I said, he could entertain you with the guitar also, like you said.
The 2-2. Fryer hits it up the middle. Jeanette, nice play. Outstanding by Scooter Jeanette. Beginning June 15th, the greatest players in the world descend upon Aaron Hills. As Jeanette made that play and flipped it to first base. The U.S. Open is coming up on Fox FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The U.S. Open, 117th edition. So here's Lance Lynn hitting .050. One for 20 this year. Watch out.
We'll teach you to talk about him hitting 050.
But I want to see him catch up on that 83-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's going to drop the 66-mile-an-hour curve on him.
Like that?
Yeah. That was a little too hard. 69 was a little aggressive with the curveball there. 69.
So Jeanette, first time up, grounds into the double play, but comes up with the best defensive play we've seen yet tonight. A little controversy over the weekend because he's wearing number 4, which was worn by Brandon Phillips. And Jeanette actually said he spent about a month trying to change out of number 4 because of his respect for Phillips. In the collective bargaining agreement between baseball and the players union, players are prohibited from changing jersey numbers after the season begins. Now if you're traded, that's one thing, but if you're starting the year with number 4, you got to keep it.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir.
Is that where we've gotten? I'm telling you, that 69-mile-an-hour curveball is just a little too much. Watch out that Lance is going to get himself a hit.
What kind of hit is it? Single, double, homer? What do we get?
I think it's going to be a jam shot single. But he's putting together a good at bat, which is always frustrating for the other pitcher. Carving up the first 8 guys, and then the other pitcher comes up and you got a 9-10 pitch at bat.
So be pitch number 9 of the at bat. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. So a 9-pitch at bat. First time through the lineup. Arroyo strikes out 3 and gives up 1 base hit.
A guy like Arroyo, when he's pitching, gives guys fits because down deep you're always worried that he's going to throw that one fastball inside to deepen the count, and you're going to get beat by it. It's because he has done it so many times in the past that that's always in your mind, and so you're always just a little bit too jumpy. And that's really when you got to back off a little bit and have faith in your ability and just try to hit the ball the other way when you get behind in the count, and that'll keep you on everything.
And a fastball at 85 and a strike to Carpenter. Flied out to center, first time up. Last start for Arroyo, 2 runs in 6 innings against the Braves. Took a no decision. An eventual 3-2 win for the Reds in 10 innings. And a drive into right center. This may go. It's a home run. Matt Carpenter with his 10th home run of the year. RBI number 28. Cardinals get on the board. Carpenter back in the leadoff spot.
That home run right there just gave Mike Matheny a headache.
What do I do now?
Exactly. As if the game's not hard enough to deal with all this other stuff. You got this to deal with now.
Boy, did he need that. He was 5 for his last 42.
You know what's good about that at bat is he was short and quick like he normally is. I noticed the other day and a little bit last night he's been getting really long. It's almost like he was getting tired and kind of trying to use that longer swing to supply some power. And that was really short and really nice.
Already the 20th home run allowed by Arroyo this year. In just under 60 innings of work. 420 feet on an 0-1 pitch. 1-0 Cardinals with the solo homer.
I like how they do that. Dead center's 404. He hits it to the right of dead center, which is shorter, and only 4 rows up, and he got 420 out of that.
Launch angle, exit velocity, the combination.
So let's just erase the numbers on the wall. Let's just do some math.
First RBI since May 21st for Carpenter, too.
Don't get me wrong, I'll take the distance. I'm just I'm a little confused in how that adds up.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. So here we go, second time through the lineup. Home run, now the walk. Let's see if Piscotty can do some damage. Second time that Pham has been on base. To talk a little bit about the superstitions that we saw before this game. Baseball players superstitious? Nah. No way.
But Carp will be in the leadoff hole tomorrow.
Think so? A strike to Stephen Piscotty. ERA for Arroyo, third worst among all major league starters, 6.24. Bartolo Colon is near 8. Masahiro Tanaka near 7. And it's 0-2. See Piscotty on that first pitch, not real happy with the cold strike.
Well, wish we had a chance to go back to it, but what I was going to say was that's the pitch that frustrates you as a hitter, because now you have to worry about it, and that's what gets you out in front of everything else.
1-2 the count. Outfield is straight away. Redbirds are trying to avoid a 6-game losing skid since they lost 7 in a row in July of 2013. Two. Now Pham off with this pitch. Votto backing up. He'll play behind Pham. Piscotty sitting on 4 home runs.
Here's this pitch again. He's trying to get in there. Didn't get as far in there, but he was ready for it that time. And that's what I'm saying. Some kids, younger players, will let that last pitch or that pitch affect their whole game. You got to be able to stay with a game plan. And if he makes that pitch and you can't hit it, there's nothing you can do about it.
Fouled back just below us. It's part of an inning that included the 9-pitch at bat with Lance Lynn up. There's 1 hit this year. So 29 pitches all told here in the 3rd. Here's a 3-2. Piscotty rips it down into the corner and left. Tommy Pham racing to 3rd. It sticks at the base of the wall. He'll score easily. And it's an RBI double for Stephen Piscotty. 2-0 Cardinals.
Really good at bat by Piscotty right here. Stayed on everything. Didn't try to do too much. Wasn't trying to go deep just because he doesn't have a whole lot of velocity. And like I said earlier in the day, I love the fact Tommy Pham at the top of the lineup provides so much spunk and so much energy, scoring all the way from first.
And the 3-2 pitch gets a good jump. Also, the Cardinals caught a little bit of a break as Duvall went to play it off the wall. It stuck in the base of the wall. Watch here. Yep.
It happens so much. When I played, I always wondered, why can't they just bring the wall all the way to the bottom? It happens all the time. It's so frustrating as an outfielder because you're just you go in there at half speed waiting for it to bounce back to you, and then it just sticks or it gets trapped, or like you saw there, it hits the bottom of the padding and just bounces straight down and gets stuck.
Here's Jerko, struck out his first time up. He's hitting .345 on the road, which is 6th best in the National League. Well, sometimes you got to have a little luck. So Jed Jerko to Scooter Gennett. Rub some of those good vibes my way. Here's a 1-1. That's in the gap in left center. Jerko driving in Stephen Piscotty, and it's a 3-0 St. Louis lead. So all this damage done, second time through the lineup, and also being done with 2 outs.
Lance Lynn set a little precedent right there with that good at bat. Everybody else kind of following suit. See Bronson right there just missing his location, and ball ran back over the plate. Not where he wanted to throw it.
RBI number 23 for Jed Jerko. In steps Jose Martinez. Mentioned this before, but the ball that hit off of Canseco's head and into the seats. You've seen that replay a million times. That was Jose's dad. And if you watch his dad run, it's like watching Jose run. And I asked him about that, and he said, oh, yeah. He said, we look identical. You could say that that was me running then. Tall, lanky. Jose goes about 6'5". Dad was a very tall man, too.
His dad was a tough customer. He was a mean son of a gun. He was a good baseball player, but he was a gutsy, gritty man.
Duvall under it and puts it away. So Jose Martinez 0 for 2, but the Cardinals with 2 outs do some damage and help out Lance Lynn. It starts with this home run by Matt Carpenter, his 10th of the year. Piscotty the double. Jerko a single. 3-0 midway through 3. When he's been on the mound his last 4 starts, the Cardinals have lost those games. But he hadn't been getting much run support, a total of 10 runs of support in those starts. Tonight now he's been given a 3-run lead. 3-0 Cardinals, bottom of the 3rd. Devin Mesoraco looks at strike 1. Arroyo on deck, and then Billy Hamilton. 0-2. Breaks his bat. Concentration on the play for Jed Jerko. The high throw to Carpenter, and there's the out. Ole Miss fan. I would imagine probably a Lance Lynn fan. Lynn was one of the best pitchers in the history of that baseball program.
What is my wife's alma mater also?
You been to the Grove yet?
No. Keep trying to get down there. We just doesn't line up with the schedule.
You would enjoy it.
I don't like crowds though.
You'd still enjoy it. Trust me.
I heard. Actually, I'm trying to line it up where Lance and I would go together and I would meet him down there.
A swing and a miss by Arroyo, batting 143. Some really interesting numbers concerning Tommy John surgery. 1,397 of those surgeries have been documented since 1974. 87% of the games so far in 2017 in Major League Baseball have had at least one pitcher that's had Tommy John surgery. That's incredible. Jerko stays with it to first, and they still get Arroyo. I think the amazing stat with Tommy John, as you're going to look here at the play of Jed Jerko, the amount of young players that are getting this surgery. From 2007 to 2011, 57% of the Tommy John surgeries were kids that were 15 through 19 years of age. So they're having the surgery before it even gets to, in some cases, college or the minor leagues.
Well, actually, right before the game, I was on the phone with Dr. Gross from St. Louis, and he was saying how people are opting to fix those little tears now, where in the past, like say for example like an Adam Wainwright, he pitched for a lot of years with little fringes and little tears in that UCL, which is that ligament that they repair, and because he was at the big league level, he didn't want to take any time off until it actually does break. What they're doing now is these young kids are going in there and fixing it early before they lose time, especially before they get into pro ball, so it doesn't cost them any money or any opportunity to get to the big league level. And I thought that was interesting, and I was wondering if it was people were just going in there and tightening it up. And he said this was the interesting part. It's not like a bionic surgery. Once you go get it fixed, it still only is going to make it so far. It's not guaranteed to be there for the rest of your career. And he was wondering if we had ever looked up a stat where how long if there's any guys out there that have had it early in their career and have gone to pitch 10 years after, because he says it's still a ligament that does break down over time even after having Tommy John surgery. Found that truly amazing today to listen to what he had to say.
There's players too, pitchers, that have had multiple Tommy Johns,
and that's why he was saying is it still is a ligament. They're fixing it, they're making it a little bit stronger, but it's not like they're putting a bionic ligament in there, so to speak, and still gives you issues if you overwork it. A little research today I did. Dr. Gross was kind enough to help me out with it.
3-2 is slapped out to left, and Martinez needed all 6'5" to reach up and make that catch. Oop, nice play. Hamilton 0 for 2, Cards on top. Cardinal fans here in Cincinnati, 3-0 our score. Top of the fourth, it'll be Diaz, DeYoung, and Fryer. Cardinals scoring all 3 runs with 2 outs in the top of the third. Jim had a nice visit with Aledmys Diaz on the pregame show. Said it's not fun. We understand we're struggling, trying to get things right. And a fly ball that's lifted into right. Schebler over and can't come up with it. It's about the spot that Piscotty made the catch last night. The way to think about it is that the wall is in an extension of the ground. So if it hits the glove, then the wall back into the glove. Can't make a catch that way.
Well, you can. It just doesn't count.
There you go.
Here's a good look at it. It only hit the wall 2 or 3 times.
That to me is the best way to try to explain it, but just think as, you know, the wall is an extension of the ground. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Aledmys Diaz, who was here in Cincinnati last year. I sat down with Aledmys for about 40 minutes, and we dedicated an entire broadcast to trying to explain his story coming from Cuba and what he's gone through with his family, the adjustments he's had to make here in the United States. Very bright guy, comes from a bright family. Till he got to the U.S., he had never driven a car. 3-2 pitch. And a ground ball. It's hit to short. Zach Cozart. They just get him by a step. We'll keep the party going this Saturday, June 10th, during the Ritz kickoff to summer weekend at Busch Stadium. That day, the Cardinals take on the Phillies. 30,000 fans 16 and older get a fashion boost with a one-of-a-kind Cardinals all over print shirt. Don't miss out. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. So 1 out, nobody on. And DeYoung hits it fair inside the third base line. Extra bases for Paul on his way to second, standing up, and a 1-out double.
Ball just inside the bag. Press. I think he does a really nice job. Paul does a little bit of everything that you need. He moves well in the infield, play multiple positions, got a good idea at the plate, he's got some power. Might be one of those guys that ends up sticking around here for a while this year.
Here is Eric Fryer, the 8th place hitter. And a fly ball to Billy Hamilton. Broke back, now comes in, catch is made. 2 outs, and it brings in Lance Lynn. Our steam director and the shot of the Ole Miss fan. Well, Lance Lynn was also a college teammate of the shortstop here in Cincinnati. That's Zach Cozart. He also played at Ole Miss. So 2 outs, runner at second, hit up the middle. Jeanette backhands, throws, and his second fine play ranging to his right. Cardinals strand a runner, their third of the evening. We move to the bottom of the 4th. It's 3-0. Again with Jim.
Dan, 11 years in the minors, not including playing abroad, just 9 games total in the big leagues. It's been quite a journey for Chad Huffman, who was brought up from AAA today. He's a 32-year-old outfielder, first baseman. He grew up playing baseball with Matt Carpenter, high school, TCU, really every level. Mike Matheny told me he's hoping Chad can provide a spark. Mike said anytime you bring in a Jose Martinez or a Chad Huffman, you realize how big of a deal it is to be here even for a day. He said guys feed off that. And Dan Matheny also said Huffman has been swinging the bat well. He's versatile and he understands his role. So he's a good fit right now.
John Gant option to AAA. Huffman brought up. Cardinals with a 3-run lead. It'll be Cozart, Votto, and Duvall for Cincinnati as we move to the bottom of the 4th. One of the best first halves of anybody in baseball, Zach Cozart. Struck out his first time up. Came in with the top on-base percentage in the National League at .439. Here's a 1-0. Same pitch. That time it's a strike. Last year, Cozart on the right, this year on the left. Relaxing the bat, the hands. It's made a huge difference.
Well, if you also see on the right where his hands were, they were in a little bit of a bad position. Kind of had him in the middle there, see, in tight and like kind of in his chest where you want to have your hands would be back a little bit. So raising his hands up there now, when he goes back to step and generates some power, he doesn't have to move his hands as far. So one, he's either moving him too much and not being consistent, or two, not generating any power because he's not moving him. So that's a great shot right there of a really good improvement for a guy at the big league level.
Chevy Foxtrax catches the corner, or did he?
Well, he's making up for a couple of the pitches earlier.
Here's Joey Votto, fly to center, first time up. Votto always among the league leaders in on-base percentage, 5th currently, .413. He scored a team high 42 runs. Lynn questioning that pitch, asking home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez, where is it?
Take a look at Joey Votto right here, how still he tries to stay with his head and his hands, and once he gets set, he doesn't want to move a whole lot.
Off the glove of Lynn, gets to it and throws it away. Votto does not advance, so base hit. The big fella Lynn slow to get up.
He makes that play right there, I might fall out of my chair. I didn't realize, when you look at it in slow motion, it's funny because I mean, that's a pretty athletic play for a big guy. He made a really good throw, even though it wasn't on target. With his body was already on the ground and his arm was holding him up, but I'm surprised he got that good of a throw off. I'm also surprised it didn't end up in the stands.
Yeah, me too. Here's Duvall. Leads the Reds in RBIs with 45. It's 5th best in the National League. Mark Reynolds, he leads the league. Duvall, as a matter of fact, had 28 in the month of May, which was the leader in the major leagues.
Tell you what, this Reds team is really high on this young man, and he looks like he could be the real deal.
He was acquired from San Francisco. The Mike Leake deal. Leake will go tomorrow for the Cardinals.
In that game the other day, he made a couple really nice throws from the outfield, and he made that play on Piscotty. He came in and just really picked it up quick and threw him out at third. It's impressive when you see a guy play defense like that with strong arm, puts it together on his offensive side. Kind of well-rounded player.
1-2 the count.
Talking to Walt Jocketty, he was really excited that he got a hold of him and that he's been able to play as well as he's played.
Here's a 1-2, line to third, and back to first base goes Votto. Just a rocket hit to third, and a nice play here by Jerko. And a heads-up play by Votto. You see a lot of guys get doubled up on that type of play.
Trying to be just a little too aggressive, getting a good jump. That ball and Jerko started to come back in.
Eugenio Suarez, he walked back in the second inning. And a strike. Lynn has struck out 2. Both have been Zach Cozart. He's walked 2. And he's given up just 1 hit. Infield hit to Joey Votto. He stands at first. This feels like an April night. Maybe late September. Chilly here at the ballpark.
Little breeze.
Yeah. A ball and a strike. Two and two. Three and two, so Votto off with his pitch. Carpenter holding it first. That's Votto. Very short lead. The 3-2. And a ground ball hit left side. Jerko across the diamond. Easy play. So the Reds get their first base hit. That's Votto. He's left stranded. Coming up for the Cardinals, the top of the lineup, and that means Matt Carpenter. He's already homered here tonight. Carpenter, Tommy Pham, Stephen Piscotty here in inning number 5. 3-0 our score. That floats in for a ball. So second time through the lineup, Cardinals get 4 hits and a walk. All 3 runs scored with 2 outs back in the 3rd inning.
Carp's going to hit another home run right here, and then there's going to be mayhem with what to do with the lineup the next day.
2-1.
This is kind of one of those guys though that can straighten you out a little bit if you're a veteran, because you're really just trying to concentrate on just the ball. You know you don't have to worry about getting beat by the fastball, and you can kind of just wait for your pitch, stay short. Make him take some pitches that he hasn't been doing much. He's been swinging through a lot of balls, a lot of foul balls. Thought that he had been getting a little bit longer with this swing than he's been in a long time. So hopefully this will be a good day for Matt Carpenter.
There's a look at your Kia in the driver's seat. 3-2. Home run back in the 3rd. His 10th of the year. 28th RBI. 3-2 pitch. And Carpenter hits a fly ball down the left field line. Duvall runs out of room. 420 feet back in the 3rd. Well, you're right, Jimmy. That was a nice short stroke from Carpenter.
This game is funny sometimes for a hitter like Carpenter. He was working earlier this month on, he was turning his back on the ball a little bit too much, was making him go around pitches. And then I was talking to a scout last night, and they thought maybe he was on his heels a little bit, and I kind of chuckled because that's exactly what he was trying to work on, is getting away from moving his upper body too much, so he leans back, which causes him to get on his heels. And they thought, well, maybe he was a little bit too much on his heels, was taking his bat a little bit longer to get to the zone. That
makes sense, yeah.
Well, that was when the conversation ended, because I was like, I don't want to get too much into this. That's why I'm up here in the booth, not down there on the field anymore.
So leadoff walk. Here's Tommy Pham. Single to left. Stolen base number 5. That was in the 1st, and he walked and scored in the 3rd. Double play ball hit to short. Cozart, Jeanette the turn, double play. The State Farm double play off the bat of Tommy Pham. Exactly what Arroyo needed.
Yeah, so frustrating too right here. Hit a ball on the nose, just right at the shortstop. He has to go 2 or 3 steps to his left or right. That ball might get through.
Here's Piscotty. He has struck out. Double down into the left field corner. That would score Pham all the way from 1st. Arroyo started pitching in the major leagues back in 2000. He was with Pittsburgh at that time. Then he went to Boston, a part of their World Championship team against the Cardinals. Traded to the Reds for Willie Mopena. Spent 8 years with Cincinnati. And then 1 healthy year in Arizona, in which he went 7-4. It's fought off. This ball may drop, and it will. Base hit, Piscotty. 2-hit night. Well, the Cardinals know him. He knows the Cardinals. After all these years in the National League Central Division, most starts against St. Louis. Active pitchers, the Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard. Arroyo, then his teammates, former teammate Johnny Cueto, Homer Bailey has been injured, and then Giovanni Gallardo now pitching in the American League.
What happens when you get stuck in the Central for too long?
Here's Jed Jerko. Jerko lines it to 3rd. So 2 hard hit balls. The Pham ground out, double play, and now that liner off the bat of Jerko. to Budweiser Bash, get an exclusive bobblehead and autograph from Scott Terry, one of the real good guys in the Cardinals organization. That's Tuesday, June 13th. Cardinals.com/Budbash. Lance Lynn has allowed one base hit, a couple of walks, and a 3-0 lead here in the home half of the 5th. That's ripped out to deep right field. This ball is gone. Got out in a hurry. Home run number 17 for Schebler, most right now in the National League.
Good piece of hitting right there by Schebler. Lance just throwing a kind of a get-me-over curveball just to try to get strike one, keep him a little bit off balance, thinking he's looking dead fastball. He hammered that one, but it's a good piece of hitting by Schebler, like I said.
This year for Lance Lynn, the hits per 9 innings way down. The home runs per 9 way up.
Well, does throw a lot of strikes, does throw a lot of fastballs, and like we've been talking about all year, and you can even hear it on TV. The ball is definitely wound tighter this year.
4th home run for Schebler against the Cardinals in 7 games this season. One ball and 2 strikes. Highest percentage of runs allowed via the home run. And for Lynn, it's 64%. That's updated. Twelfth home run he's allowed this year. Bit surprising. We saw history last night thanks to Scooter Gennett. 4 home runs, drove in 10, the 2-2. Held on to by Fryer. It's rare when it happens. Just the 17th player to hit 4 in a game. How rare is it? 314 times the cycle. No hitters, 296. Perfect game only 23 times. The 4 home run games 17. Unassisted triple play 15 times. 2 grand slams by the same player 13 times. And then to think 2 grand slams, same game, same pitcher, like Fernando Tatis.
Same inning.
That's incredible.
1.
Chano Park.
1 time.
Scooter Gennett had never hit 4 home runs in a month, much less in a game. One ball and 1 strike on Devin Mesoraco. Grounded out to third, his first time up. Of those that have had the 4 home run games, only 2 have hit a grand slam, which is what Gennett did last night too. 2-1 pitch. And a ground ball hit to third. Jed Jerko. Mesoraco retired. Flashback, Fernando Tatis, Chano Park, 1999. And he did it again. Incredible. You may never see that one again. the fact that the pitcher's still in after giving up the first home run, the grand slam, and then to go around in the lineup
all
again.
the way around the lineup again. That was one of those days when they brought him in the game. They was like, we need you to eat up some innings today.
Arroyo drops down a bunt, pushed it foul. So Mark Whitten did it in game 2 of a doubleheader. The first game was 14-13. The Reds won 3 hours 41 minutes. Game 2, sparse crowd, Riverfront. It started at 9:46 local time. He had 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Larry Lubers gave up 1. He had 2 off of Mike Anderson and the last one off of Rob Dibble. After that, Mark Whitten had 3 home runs the rest of the season, 24 games, and drove in 12 RBIs. Out to center, and it drops in. Arroyo is aboard. And Whitten eventually was traded to Boston for St. Louis native Scott Cooper. So 2 hits in the inning, 3 in the game. Brings in Billy Hamilton. Some believe last night may have been the greatest individual hitting performance ever in a major league game. Drives in 10, 4 home runs, went 5 for 5 at the plate. I think you'd have to look at, remember what Sean Green did? He was 6 for 6 in one game for the Dodgers against Milwaukee, 4 home runs and a double, and 6 for 6.
So if they're playing poker, Sean Green got him by 1 card.
That's one way to look at it.
The double instead of the single.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Remember last time up, Hamilton slapped it to Jose Martinez. He came in, had to leap for it. Now he's backed up a step or 2. And a guy like Billy Hamilton, his speed, he can drop that ball into shallow left. One and 2 the count. The Reds as a team lead the National League in stolen bases with 59. Hamilton with 28 of those. Next closest, Trey Turner with 18. And the 1-2 pitch hit out of play. Now especially with 2 strikes, if you're Tommy Pham, are you telling Jose Martinez let's cheat in a little bit there and left?
Yeah, now I'm moving in for sure, even more so, and I'm letting him know maybe if the catcher moves to the inner half of the plate, you got to have to come in even further.
Talk about Lynn trying to get in, cut the ball in the hands of the lefties.
And you have plenty of time to tell him right here. You can see the catcher's moving inside. I'm yelling, and there you go. Communicate that before the pitch, and then as the catcher starts to move, then you're just saying, hey, 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 and you just have to scream a little bit. Any kind of there, he's moving him now, but any kind of movement and any kind of time, anytime you hear my voice, that means I want you to go in.
Hamilton is grounded out to second, also lined out. 0 for 2 tonight. Carpenter playing behind Arroyo, your runner at first base. On the outside corner, and he struck him out. And it's strikeout number 4 for Lance Lynn. We head to the 6th. It's 3-1. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Jed Jerko trying to get some of those good vibes from Scooter Gennett. With 2 outs in the third, the Cardinals pick up the lead. Carpenter the home run, the double by Piscotty. Jerko this base hit, all done with 2 outs. Scott Schebler is homered for the Cincinnati Reds. The one blemish for Lance Lynn tonight. 3-1 our score. Top of the 6th rolls in.
And this spot right here is where the St. Louis Cardinals have to do a better job of scoring some runs. You have a 3-1 lead. You have a guy who's been getting you in and out of the dugout quickly, and you have Bronson Arroyo still on the mound. If I'm looking at this, I gotta say to myself, I have to have a really good at bat right here in this inning and take advantage of Bronson being out there, because when you get into the bullpen, you're starting to see 96, 97, 99. You get lefties that can throw, so take advantage of him still being in the game right here in the 6th inning and try to at least get one more run.
Jose Martinez, first pitch out to center. 1 pitch, 1 out. Arroyo is really an old school guy. Still uses a flip phone. His spikes are the model Kenny Lofton of the mid-1990s. Reminder that if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device. That's Fox Sports Go. Diaz showing bunt.
Brunson still got the double flap on the helmet, like the minor leagues.
Yeah. Diaz with a base hit into right center. First hit of the night. So all you have to do is download the app, take Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals baseball with you. Throw it, Steven, wherever you go. Here's Paul DeYoung, doubled inside the third base line. Back in the 4th, he's 1 for 2. The Reds right now, their starters last in the majors in ERA, near 6. They've thrown the fewest innings, but a major improvement for this Reds club has been their bullpen. Terrible a year ago, now 3rd in bullpen ERA this season. As you mentioned, they've got some good arms and hard throwers out there.
Definitely the game becomes a little bit more challenging as a hitter when you get into that bullpen, because first of all, you see the starter 2 or 3 times, but then when you get into the bullpen, you just don't know who you're going to face, and it can change really quick, and you have maybe a little vision in your head of what you're going to do your next at bat and how you're going to face certain people, and then it can flip so quickly. So changes the game in a hurry as a hitter.
2-1 the count. It was Wandy Peralta, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen for the Reds, getting loose. I think anytime that you see, if you're Brian Price and the Reds, Bronson Arroyo pitching into the 6th, you got to be thrilled. And here's a guy that they signed to an invite to spring training and now taking a turn every 5th day in the rotation at the age of 40.
Hopefully providing some leadership. Hey, you can see if he hits his spots, he can keep a team off balance. And with this offense, if he goes out there and throws 6 or 7 innings with 3 runs given up, this offense can keep, I mean, that can keep this team in the game, and this offense can take over. So could you imagine if that's what you're getting out of him at 40 years old every start? Now, he hasn't been able to do that, but you see he's definitely capable of going out there and keeping a team within 3 runs.
Ouch. Off the foot of DeYoung. you're friends with Bronson Arroyo, you need to tell him if he wants to watch Cardinal baseball, he's going to have to get the Fox Sports Go app as DeYoung strikes out. I'm not sure you could stream it on a flip phone.
Not so sure of that.
Fourth strikeout for Bronson Arroyo. Dexter Fowler has moved to the on-deck circle just in case. Now, if you're Brian Price, would you think about pitching around Fryer and forcing the hand of Mike Matheny in this spot?
Sometimes you do, yeah, definitely. Also, depending on who you have coming up.
Now, for Mike, it could be just for show to have Fowler go out there. And maybe he's trying to outwit him a little bit and say, okay, here's Fowler. He's going to pinch hit, when really the reality is he's not. Lynn stays in the game.
Like I said, it depends on who they got warming up. You got the heart of the order coming up if you're the Cincinnati Reds, and who do you want facing who? Or, like I was saying before, if I'm the starter and I'm hitting, if I'm playing, I kind of want to see the starter out there again. I want my shot at the starter again.
Only at 78 pitches, Lance Lynn. So runner at first, 2 balls and a strike on Fryer. 0 for 2, grounded to second, also flied out to center. Fryer, a base hit out to left. We're going to find out right here. And that will be it for Lance Lynn. Wow. Did not see this coming, did you?
No, not at all. And not till Dexter walked out there would I even have thought of this situation right here, just because Lance has been cruising. But like I always say, Danny, when you're not in the dugout, you don't know what's going on. So, and I'm sure Lance, being old school, probably not too happy about coming out of this game, but hopefully they can get him a few runs and get him a victory.
So switch hitter Dexter Fowler. Brian Price is not motioned yet to the bullpen, not yet. And that will be it. Fowler, a 182 hitter from the right side of the plate, so the lefty will pitch to Dexter Fowler, and Lynn's night is through. has all the bases covered for your next ballpark visit. New guest rooms, barbecue at the Brew House Sports Bar, and more. Just steps from the Arch Grounds and Riverfront. Book today, 655-1234, or visit stlouisarch.regency.hyatt.com. So here's Wandy Peralta, and he will face Dexter Fowler. And again, we don't know, like you said, when you look down and watch the games, you don't know what's going on in that dugout. Maybe they saw something they didn't like last inning, but you got to look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. When you're trailing 3-1 and you get a spot like this, it's probably easier to accept if you're Lance Lynn as opposed to being up 3-1.
Well, and I also think that you try to force the hand of someone when you're down.
We knew this was a good move. One hops off the wall. One run is in. Fowler to second base. They'll wave in another. Relay to the plate. He is out. Fryer gunned down at home plate. Mike Matheny and the Cardinals will take a longer look. So Fowler comes off the bench. He's now 3 for 5 as a pinch hitter with at least 4 RBIs, and it might be 5. I think a question from the Cardinals' perspective is he blocking the plate? Now, you can block the plate if the throw takes you in that direction, but in terms of just blocking it like this, that could be in question. He clearly is out, and I think the Cardinals with this are questioning whether or not there was a lane for him to slide in.
Well, me personally, I think he's out, and he should be out because I don't think the catcher did anything wrong, but really interested to hear what the explanation will be for this one.
This is a reviewable play, home plate collision rule. I mean, I think if you were just looking safe or out, you'd say he's out. And to me, that looked fairly obvious, unless we're not getting a look that maybe they're seeing. But the other part of this would be whether or not there's a lane to slide into.
Well, I mean, it depends on how technical that lane to slide into you want to go, because he definitely had his foot in front of the plate. So,
well, the rule is
normal baseball right here is this is a great play, and this is the way you've been taught since you were 6.
But the throw, I mean, the throw is to the plate. I
Yep.
mean, it shouldn't have taken him up the line, I don't believe.
Safe and out. We still wonder why they don't have a mic.
So the Cardinals go to their pen. They add to the lead. Out is the call. Matt Bowman. 29th appearance, and he's in relief of Lance Lynn. And for Lynn, under 80 pitches tonight. And now the Cardinals leave it up to the bullpen to get the final 12 outs. 4-1 our score. We're told during the commercial break that indeed that's why the Cardinals challenged, was because of a lane for the runner to slide into. A lot of gray area in that rule, boy. Woo.
I think the entire rule is gray.
I think you made the right point. You're taught. Devin Mesoraco has been taught since he's been playing baseball to.
That was textbook catching.
Yeah, block the plate.
And he didn't even block the plate. He just took the tag to the to the front of the plate with the momentum that he has from trying to bring the ball down there for the tag. And he's right there on the edge of the plate. Obviously nowhere to slide. But the new rule says if you got to give someone a place to slide, and like you said, there's a lot of gray area there.
It's the third runner in 3 nights now for the Cardinals that has been thrown out at on the bases. 2 at the plate, 1 at third. Ground ball hit left side. Diaz gloves and makes the play. So Zach Cozart 0 for 3 tonight. So Monday night, it's Paul DeYoung trying to score. Duvall, his second outfield assist. That was Piscotty. And then tonight, the double by Fowler, and Fryer is gunned down. Here's Joey Votto. 1 out, nobody on. And a fastball and a strike for Matt Bowman. One pitch. First 2 pitches have been into Votto. Trying to bust him in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Fryer sets up outside, and it's in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Votto tonight flied out to center. And an infield hit back in the 4th. It's been talked about in Major League Baseball that maybe, just maybe, after the All-Star break, that the crew chief would wear a microphone and try to explain the ruling to the fans, those at home watching on television, and certainly those here at the ballpark. Votto with a fly ball out to deep left. Martinez makes the catch. What's on tap is presented by Budweiser. Mike Leake, Scott Feldman. Leake is 5-4. Will come your way tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. St. Louis time. The former Red, Mike Leake.
I think I would be afraid to wear the mic myself because I don't know what the rules are. As far as not saying I don't know what they are, where they go and what they cover, and like you said, the gray area. How are you going to explain that play right there if you believe and everyone sees that he really didn't have a place to slide, and then you're going to sit there and say over the loudspeaker, guy gave him a lane.
I would just like, though, if they're not going to go into detail about it, just to say players under review, we're looking at the potential of the collision rule at home plate, which is the lane to the plate. So we're not looking at safer out. Hit out to left, hard hit, and a fair ball off the bat of Duvall, trotting into second base with a 2-out double. barely fair.
I would like to see that again. I was wondering how it was going to stay fair in real time, and then there, that ball just barely hit the edge of the yellow line. Wow. I mean, it can't get any closer to being a foul ball than that.
It's a great call by David Rackley, the third base umpire. And Duvall, initially out of the box, I think he thought that was going to be foul.
I would have thought it would have hooked more than it did, for sure.
There's Suarez, and he looks at a strike. Barely. David Rackley has an unbelievable set of eyes.
X-ray vision.
0-1 pitch. Suarez a walk back in the second inning. Also grounded out to third. Here's a 2-1. Well, if you're Mike Matheny, you make that move because you have great confidence in your 8th and 9th inning guys in particular, which would be Rosenthal and O in this game if everything falls to plan. Brett Cecil getting loose.
The thing for me is I think that you make the move because that's the move you want to make. There's just a lot of ifs because you do have so much game left, and I think that's where the discussion becomes open for everyone to second guess Mike, because it's not like you're making the move in the 8th and you just throw your best 2 guys out there and you're done, and they either do well or they don't. You make that move and there's so many ifs for 6, 7, and 8, or 6, 7, 8, and 9 still to play, and it's a nice move right there. You go out and get another run, especially because your offense has been struggling, but now you're asking your bullpen to get four innings worth, and against a good offensive club. But those decisions have to be made, and so you live and you die by whatever decision you make, and just try to put your best guys out there at the right time, and hopefully they can come through.
Schebler on deck. He's already homered tonight. 3-2 pitch.
I think if you take a guy like Lance Lynn out of a game at any time, he's going to be frustrated, especially with the lead. So
no doubt,
can't really go on the reaction of Lance because he's a gamer and he's going to want to be out there for 120 pitches. I think if he had 105 pitches right there and he's in the 7th inning and he's pitching the game that he's pitching, he's still going to be frustrated because he knows how he feels. The only thing I was a little bit taken back by looking at it is maybe the home run and the base hit and the hard hit ball might have woken some people up.
Good work by Matt Bowman, a scoreless 6th inning. We ended the 7th, 4-1 St. Louis. Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Carpenter is homered tonight. That was back in the third, also walked, back in the leadoff spot. Peralta faced Fowler, gave up the RBI double. Run charge to Bronson Arroyo. Went 5 2/3, gave up 4. Tied him up, and it's 1-2.
And this is what I was saying right here.
If you all right over there?
If I'm a hitter, I'm kind of wanting to face Bronson Arroyo one more time instead of getting a guy like this coming out of the bullpen. And no, I'm not all right over here.
Inside. Peralta last pitched on the 3rd of this month. That was a scoreless 11th inning against Atlanta. Fastball and a called third strike.
This ball ends up being
tire
a strike.
service.
Sorry, this ball ends up being a strike, but it's a tough strike when it's off a tough lefty.
Brings in Tommy Pham. Pham has singled to left, walked and scored. Hard hit ball turns out to be a double play back in the 5th. Big gap in left center. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. You have 2 lefties coming up in the lineup for the Cincinnati Reds. Schebler, Jeanette, and then Devin Mesoraco. So we'll see what direction Mike Matheny wants to go with. Cecil continues to throw. So it looks like we'll see Brett Cecil start that inning after a scoreless frame put up by Bowman. Full count now. Hit up the middle and a base hit. You can see Peralta thought about going after it, then dropped the glove. Not sure he would have gotten to it anyway, but finds a hole up the middle. And Tommy Pham is on base for the 3rd time. StubHub is your ticket out to once in a lifetime experiences. Cardinal games, concerts, shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. 1 out hit. Here's Stephen Piscotty. He's got 2 hits tonight, and the first time this year back-to-back multi-hit games for Piscotty. Cardinals in search of somebody to get really hot.
Just
maybe carry this club.
Just gonna say he just hasn't got hot yet this year. They've been very fortunate with bringing Tommy Pham up. He had sparked the team for a little bit, but just really No one's really caught fire at the same time.
Nice turn by Jeanette. The double play. Cardinals have hit into their second double play of this ball game. Time to stretch. Brett Cecil. And Cecil will face a couple of tough lefties here in this inning. Scott Schebler and Scooter Gennett, followed by Devin Mesoraco. The numbers on Cecil. 4-1 our score, home half of the 7th. Schebler with his 17th home run back in the 5th. Ryan Zimmerman also homered earlier in play today, so he's tied with Schebler with 17. So Matt Bowman a scoreless 6th in relief of Lynn, who went 5 innings tonight. DeYoung. Carpenter off the bat. So leadoff base hit for Schebler, on base for the 3rd time.
Did you see that? He almost looked like he looked at the shortstop. They knew he was going to be so far in the hole that he was almost looking to flip. But I think Diaz was too far away.
Scooter Gennett, prior to the other night when he got the base hit off of Segrist, he had been 0 for his last 19. And since then, he's been on a tear. Quiet tonight, though. Double play and a strikeout. And that is a base hit into center. The tying run comes to the plate. Devin Mesoraco with 3 home runs this year. Kubota power stats. History here at the ballpark. Most RBIs in a 4 home run game. Mark Whitten with 12. Scooter Gennett with 10. Gil Hodges, Josh Hamilton, Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt on that list and Scooter Gennett.
Trying to imagine trying to get more RBIs than that without hitting 4 home runs.
It's incredible. Patrick Kivlahan is at the on-deck circle. Nobody out, 2 runners on, tying run at the plate. Two balls and no strikes. Two and one. Idea when the Cardinals brought in Cecil, the 4-year contract, very tough on lefties. So far that has not been the case. He has struggled there, but also in innings like this you would feel comfortable to keep him in to face right-handed batters as well. 3-1. Three and two. Cardinals have turned one double play tonight. That was back in the second inning. 3-2 pitch. Pulled foul. He struck him out. This is the kind of game that if you're Mike Matheny, do you extend maybe a Trevor Rosenthal? Something to think about, more than just a 1-inning appearance tonight, or maybe more than just a 1-inning appearance for Seung-Hwan Oh as well.
Well, you can see right there why Cecil's been successful in the past. That's a nasty, nasty slider. Just think that sometimes he might just not being able to hit his location like he's had in the past. But you're right, if you have to go to the bullpen this early, you might have to get 4 or 5 outs from one of those guys, if not both.
So this is Kivlahan at the plate, 3 for 20 as a pinch hitter. He's had the most pinch hitting appearances this season for the Reds. And the 1-0 pitch by Cecil. A drive, right field. This ball is gone. And we've got a tie game. Pinch hit home run, Kivlahan. We're tied now at 4. Top of the lineup, the switch hitting Billy Hamilton. One of the real issues for Cecil this year is falling behind in the count. And when he does that, his best pitch, most effective pitch, that slider, breaking ball.
Can't throw it.
Can't throw it. And hitters aren't chasing it.
Well, and the other thing too is when you come over to a new league, nobody's really seen you, so they're going to want to see what you have to offer. And we talked so much about watching video. Well, if you're watching video, you're seeing that he's throwing the ball down the middle a lot. and he has a really good slider. So your approach is, I'm going to go after the fastball, and I don't want to swing at the slider, and I don't want to have to swing at the slider. Well, now when he gets behind, he has to throw that fastball, and they don't ever even get to the slider, let alone have to swing at it. Making it just really, I mean, to be honest with you, just make it hard on yourself. And it's just part of the struggles that you have as a pitcher from time to time. And especially when you come over here with a 4-year deal, it really magnifies everything because you're the fresh face in town with a new contract.
3-1 on Billy Hamilton. Corners are in. Hamilton bunting, but right to Matt Carpenter for out number 2. Now does Mike Matheny let Cecil face Zach Cozart, even though Cozart is over 3. Mentioned it earlier, he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball since opening day. He's had a tremendous start to his 2017 campaign.
Well, and now your new dilemma is now you're in a tie game.
Yep.
You want to bring Rosie in here because that's really not what you want to use him for.
No, sir.
Especially in the 7th inning. And your only other guy down there warming up is another lefty.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Cozart, fair ball. Uh-oh. Now you can't field it and then drop it. That's a nice play, but it'll be a double for Cozart.
I don't know why, but that makes me laugh every time I see it.
I do too. I laugh too.
Because then they drop it. Like, he should have just turned around and chucked it down into the corner like where it was going. Not to mention that might be a foul ball. Probably read it better than the umpire.
So Brett Cecil comes in, allows 4 hits, including the pinch hit home run by Kivlahan. Real nice backhanded play there.
He might make the news tonight.
And the Cardinals go back to their bullpen. It will be Trevor Rosenthal. Chevy called to the pen. You would have loved to have seen Rosenthal come in the 8th and have a lead, but now the Cardinals go to him here with 2 outs in the 7th and the go-ahead run in scoring position. Joey Votto will come to the plate. Votto is 1 for 3 tonight.
It's funny too is the thing I noticed over the years watching so many games also is these games always come up the day before a day game. And so you want to stretch Rosie out, you want to stretch.
There's a drive into left field and gone. First pitch, Votto home run. Reds have the lead. First pitch by Rosenthal and a home run for Joey Votto, number 15 this year. Inning started with a 4-1 lead. The Cardinals now trailing 6-4. So 2 outs, and here is Adam Duvall.
Like I was saying, tomorrow's the day game, and so you got to pick one of your guys maybe that you're going to stretch, because you can't stretch them both out. Then you don't have either one of them for tomorrow. So it makes it even tougher to get 4 innings worth out of your bullpen.
Well, you look at the road trip too. The Cardinals have had leads in the majority of these games, and late they can't nail them down. Another reason why you look at the starter maybe going a little deeper tonight. But that's not the case. It's 6-4 Cincinnati. Good fastball at 99. So 2/3 of an inning for Cecil. 4 hits, 4 runs. And now the Cardinals trail 6-4. One-two pitch, struck him out. Sends us to the 8th. Big inning for Cincinnati. They have their first lead of the night. Milwaukee is tied with Chicago atop the Central Division. Cincinnati moved ahead of the Cardinals with the 2 wins in this series. They're a half game in front of St. Louis. Cardinals 3.5 games out. Pittsburgh 4.5. It's been disturbing in the 5-game losing skid for the Cardinals in 4 of the 5. So outside of last night's game, in the 5 losses, they've had leads in 4 of them, and they're losing these games late. So can they come back tonight? We move to the 8th. It's Jed Jerko, Jose Martinez, and Aledmys Diaz. Lorenzen, a hard thrower. First pitch taken for a ball. Jerko is struck out. RBI single to left center, back into third, and lined out to third. One and one. We saw Iglesias, Raisel Iglesias, pitch the other night, hit triple digits. Hard throwers. So quite the contrast from Bronson Arroyo, the starter, to what we see here.
Hence the reason I would like to see him still in the game.
Swing and a miss. Ground ball, that's chopped to first. Joey Votto takes it himself. And there's one away. Jose Martinez 0 for 3. Popped out to Mesoraco, flied out to left, fly to center. 6-4 our score here in the top of the 8th. Little tapper foul. A lot of players right now searching, trying to figure it out.
Well, the hardest thing is to go through it when you're struggling like this, and especially when you get beat late in games, is it's natural to say, here we go again. I mean, it really is, and then that drags you down even more, makes it harder to come back, and you got to break that cycle somehow, and got to figure out a way to come back and get a win in one of these games to start to believe that you can play with other teams and keep scoring during later innings of the game.
It was Scooter Gennett last night, Joey Votto tonight. First pitch against Rosenthal, the home run. Here's a 1-2. And a base hit into right field. Tying run will come to the plate. The Cardinals with 11 hits in this game.
Still cannot believe the swing that this young man has for his height. He stays behind the ball. He can go the other way. He can hit the pitch down. He can hit the pitch up. Does such a nice job at the plate.
So 1 out, tying run at the plate. Ball gets away, but Martinez does not advance.
Wisely does not advance.
What makes this extremely tough for the Cardinals too is the manner in which they're losing these games, Jimmy. So it's a 5-game losing skid. 4 of the 5, it was the 7th inning or later they lost the lead, then eventually lost the game. Tonight, the 7th inning, lost the lead. Here's a 1-0 pitch. So Mike Matheny really took a chance. Again, we don't know if something was an issue with Lynn or they didn't like something they saw, but 78 pitches and then asked for 12 outs out of the bullpen. Ground ball left side, out at second and safe at first. Here's Paul DeYoung. Cardinals on the year 22-6 when leading after 6 innings. DeYoung a double inside the third base line. His only hit tonight, 1 for 3. There's strike 1. By comparison, the Reds are 20-1 leading after 6. No balls and 2 strikes. Nothing into the count on Paul DeYoung. Spoils that pitch. You can hear the pitcher, Lorenzen, grunting with every pitch and the sizzle of the baseball going towards the plate.
Max effort kind of guy.
Young man is put together too. Here's the 0-2. Check swing. Held up. 1-2. Strikeout of DeYoung sends us to the home half of the 8th. A 6-4 Cincinnati lead. Is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. 6-4 our score as we move to the bottom of the 8th. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Kevin Segrist into the ball game. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th. It's Suarez, Schebler, and Jeanette. Appearance number 25 for Kevin Segrist. ERA of 4.79. First pitch, a fastball at 92. And strike one. Segrist pitched in game 1 of the series, and it was Scooter Jeanette breaking that 0 for 19 with a base hit into right that broke open a 2-2 score. Late in games, Cardinals have been struggling. There's no question. 0-2. So Rosenthal, a third of an inning, the home run to Votto, and a strikeout. And the 1-2 pitch. Hit out of play. Only the Mets with 7, Rangers 9 have more losses when leading after 6 innings this season than the Cardinals.
It's definitely a tough way to play the game.
Fly ball into right, backing up a step or two, Piscotty, and that's the first out. 7th inning runs. The pinch hit home run. Kiplevan had been 3 for 20, and then Votto against Rosenthal, a 2-run shot to give the Reds this 6-4 lead.
You know, I'm not trying to pin it, or I don't want to pin it on the bullpen, but a part of this team that's been struggling the most, or actually if you look at it in reverse, the part of the team that has been so successful, it's almost like you're wasting good starting pitching each and every night, because eventually teams are going to score runs. You can't shut everyone out all the time, but if you cannot do the little things, which is, first of all, play with a lead, not get thrown out of the bases, playing better defense, and just keep scoring runs over the course of the game, you're going to have these tough games like this, and then you end up with the loss. And you have a great starting staff, and just need to keep working on, keep scoring runs, and getting yourself through 9 innings with a win.
It's a base hit for Schebler, on base for the 4th time, his 2nd infield hit. Both have been off the glove of the pitcher. Also homered back in the 5th. And it brings in Scooter Gennett. Just to give you an idea of how amazing last night was, the Cardinals' second baseman this year combined have 3 home runs and 22 RBIs. Well, think about that. And last night he hits 4 home runs and drives in 10.
Some kind of night.
Whew.
Even from this side.
Iglesias getting loose in the Reds bullpen. The crowd tonight, 20,891, 20891. And the 0-1 pitch to Scooter Gennett. Instead, a check on the runner at first. That's Schebler. Cardinals will have Eric Fryer, pitcher's spot, and Carpenter coming up. And the 0-1 pitch. Back to Segrist, gathers it, double play ball. 1-6-3 sends us to the 9th. The Cardinals turn their 2nd double play of this ball game. First was in the 2nd inning, and this one moments ago. And both off the bat of Scooter Gennett. in this series. We came in 2 nights ago and said this is one of the better offensive teams in the league. It's their pitching that's of concern. Well, they've shown us why they're a very good offensive club. 21 hits, 13 extra base hits, 23 runs, and hitting .290. Chevy called to the pen, Raisel Iglesias, 27-year-old from Cuba, converted shortstop, terrific arm. Right-handers only hitting .105 against him. So the Cardinals counter with Greg Garcia. He'll lead it off. Cardinals down by 2 here in the top of the 9th. And if St. Louis cannot come back in this ball game, it'll be their 6th loss in a row. The Reds hold on. They win the series. They look for a 4-game sweep tomorrow. Yadier Molina is at the on-deck circle. One ball and 1 strike.
Dan, you talked about the Reds offense, and the one thing that really sticks out to me is if you watch, or you have watched what they've done, it's gone from line to line. Every guy on that team hits the ball up the middle. It's the ball the other way. Obviously can pull the ball, but you've seen home runs go the other way from all their players, and balls have been yanked down the line, and base hits have been up the middle. So it's a pretty well-rounded group. When it's hard to pitch to guys when they can hit the ball all over the field.
Two, fouled back. The Cardinal pitchers, 7th inning later, ERA 4.97. The average against the bullpen 266 7th inning or later. That's 28th in both those categories in baseball. Strikeout of Garcia. Brings in Yadier Molina. 1 out, nobody on. Molina takes a ball low. Yadi did not start, obviously, here tonight. First time as a pinch hitter here in 2017. Fouled back, 1 ball and 1 strike. All time most games played in Cardinals history. Molina moving ahead of Willie McGee, 9th place all time. Breaks his bat. Strike 2.
This is some kind of tough at bat for Yadier Molina coming off the bench. This guy throwing as hard as he throws from all different angles.
You can see why when he drops down and he's throwing 98 to 100 with run or the slider. I mean, it's tough.
It's funny you say that too, because a lot of guys, when they drop down, they don't throw both pitches. Sometimes even Bronson Arroyo, when he drops down, he's 90% of the time he's going to be throwing a slider.
Just like that. Jose Fernandez, the number 16 written on the cap. The 2-2 and a grounder left side. That's out number 2. Post-game show coming up after our final out. Here from Mike Matheny, the players. And certainly one of the questions for Mike Matheny will be about Lance Lynn, 78 pitches, 5 innings, taking him out with a 3-1 lead. Here's Carpenter. He is homered here tonight. 2 outs, nobody on. The shift on for Carpenter. Strike 1. 7th inning. The pinch hitter, Patrick Kivlehan. 3-run homer in the 7th. That tied it up. Then a man would get on, and Joey Votto would face Rosenthal. First pitch he saw. 2-run homer, and that's the difference so far tonight. Ground ball to the right side. This should do it. The Reds take game number 3. The Cardinals now have dropped 6 in a row. And Cincinnati looks for a sweep tomorrow afternoon.
Tough game again, like you said. Tough loss. It's been a couple of games that they've had early and just haven't been able to stay on top and nor come back. So there's always ways to try to tweak things, and this is one of the things they're going to have to try and tweak. Staying ahead and also battling back when a team comes back like that. So keep an eye on that.
Another tough loss for the Cardinals. Post-game show coming up. 6-4 our final.